Hi, and welcome to another SecretEntourage.com video. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Spencer Haws from NichePursuits.com. Now, I have to tell you, Spencer, I didn't really know what NichePursuits.com was until I recently saw someone else who we interviewed kind of do an interview with you, and that caught my interest once I went on the site, and I thought it was not only beautiful, but quite informative. And so I felt like it was a good time to kind of reach out to you and have a conversation about what it really is, specifically for our viewers, but also if you can, share with us more about what led up to you starting it. So first tell us, more about yourself and how you got here.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for the intro there. But yeah, my journey has been a long one to lead me eventually to where I am today with Niche Pursuits and many of the other things that I do, and we can dig into all those details. But essentially, my background is probably a lot like people out there. I went to school. I thought eventually I'd get into the corporate world. That's just sort of the thing that everybody did. And so my background is actually in finance. I got a degree in business finance. And graduated with my bachelor degree and started working actually at Merrill Lynch and then moved on to Wells Fargo. I was in the financial services industry, just working the typical, 8 to 5 grind. But actually my interest in entrepreneurship started with seeing my dad. My dad was an engineer for about 25 years, but about the same time I started going to college, he decided to open up his own engineering firm. He went out on his own, left his company, and started being very successful at that. I saw him grow it from nothing to, lots of employees and doing very well. And so I started thinking about business, and really is why I went into business finance. I then went on and got my MBA, always in the back of my head, thinking, I need to start something on my own. As great as working in the financial services industry is, I need to do something. And I never really had this big idea. I tried lots of little things along the way, but it wasn't until I discovered websites and SEO and online ventures that everything clicked for me, and that's eventually led me to my success. And I can tell you sort of that journey along the way, if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you said it. Before we even get into the entrepreneur side, you're already given me some great questions to ask you.
Sure.
Me and you share a very similar background, actually, in finance. So that
Okay.
was actually, I retired off of finance when I was about 25. So similar, except that on the trading world, but I was also head of a retail bank. So, definitely similar backgrounds. I never, like you, went to school, though. So tell me a little bit about leaving the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, since we're in the finance world. How did you do that? Like, when did you actually decide to leave a good paying job to go kind of get started on your own? Was it something you did at the same time and then transition, or was it something you just let go and started something new from?
No, I'm way too conservative to just sort of quit and leave my job. So I was definitely doing things on the side. I was building little websites and learning on the side for years, until eventually that side income thing started to click for me. I started to bring in some money, and I continued to develop that for a couple of more years, until really the income from my niche websites is what I was doing, building little websites that ranked in Google and made some money, off of advertising and other things. But the money from those niche websites was more than my day job. And so I said, all right, let's do this. Let's go full time. So I quit my job, knowing that I already had a full-time income. So it was a slow, long process. Like I said, and I am married, I have kids, and so it was one of those things that I can't just quit without knowing I have some income coming in the door. If it was just me, maybe it would have been a different story. But yeah, so I had the income there, I quit, and I've now been full-time since early 2011, so a little over 2 years.
So when you think about your first few niche websites, which you were talking about are the ones that created the residual income you needed to kind of transition into becoming a full-time business owner rather than working a 9 to 5. What were some of the first ones that led to your greatest learning, and can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, the very first website I created, really, I did it more of as a hobby than as a venture, because I was interested in the whole World Wide Web and getting something online. So I created a blog about finance because that was my background, and I figured I can create some great content in the personal finance industry, but I didn't understand how search engines worked. I really wasn't into marketing. Like I said, it was more of a hobby. And so I didn't pursue that initial website as much as I probably could have, and just because of lack of knowledge, I didn't know how. And so that website didn't lead to financial success, but it did lead me onto the journey of starting to wonder how I could get free traffic, or how I could get traffic in general, and how I could make money off of my websites. And so from that initial first blog that I created, was a couple of years of just learning and experimenting and doing all sorts of things, until eventually I understood that the most important thing from my perspective was finding ways that I could quickly and easily rank in Google for specific keywords. And that's how that was a light bulb for me, was understanding that if I could rank for these low competition keywords, I could get that traffic. And so I started building niche websites based on very small keywords, but things that I could rank quickly. And the first couple of sites that I built started making me only about $30 a month or so, but each month it was $30 whether I did anything or not. It was passive income. And so I quickly replicated that process to where I had lots and lots of these little sites all earning me money, and that's what led me to the income there.
So give me the first, what was the first finance site you built? What was it called?
Yeah, it actually doesn't exist anymore, but it was called keyblast.com. It's a weird name. Again, it was just, I don't even know if when I bought the domain, if I knew it was going to be a finance site. I think I just bought a domain just because I had never done it before. I bought a domain and started doing all sorts of things. So that particular site doesn't exist anymore.
So what are some of the sites you own now that are like niche, in a sense, outside of niche pursuits, of course? What were some of those sites that are currently earning you some type of revenue, even if not significant, of course, but the entry sites you had built?
Yeah, one that I have shared publicly with people is bestsurvivalknifeguide.com. And so bestsurvivalknifeguide.com is a site that I built targeting the keyword best survival knife. It now ranks #1 in Google for best survival knife and lots of other related keywords as well. Last month, that site made me about $350 with the Amazon Associates program. So I review knives, and I have a list of different survival knives that people click on, and I earn a commission when they buy something off of Amazon. So I have lots of sites kind of like that.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. We'll use this as a good example. So bestsurvivalknifeguide.com is ultimately like you create content, you affiliate, and then you have ads on it, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So is that time worth $350 a month?
Yeah, it definitely is, because, it's not big money. You're not going to quit your job on $350 a month, but if you have lots of these, then you can. But the reason it's worth it is because essentially after the first couple of months of the site, it's hands-free. I don't do anything else to it. And to be honest, I'm at the point where I basically do the initial research. I then hire people to write all the content for me, and I hire other people to help it rank in Google, maybe do some link building and things. So my time investment is actually very, very low. So maybe I spent 10 hours on this particular site, but if each and every month it's earning me $350 a month, you can see that my time investment, the ROI is huge. It really is.
So you said something interesting. You said you hire other people. Now, from what I understand, you're not really a programmer or a coder. So how did you get started with these first websites? Like, did you have to partner with someone?
initially, a lot of what I was doing was trying to learn how to code, and it was so